You know, I think the problem is I didn't have a big enough head in my body. I think that's the problem.
Maybe. I was worried about that.
Because look, see how, look, where, can you all see that?
No, lift it up higher.
Can you see it now?
Oh, yep. Oh, you need more of a neck.
Is that it, you think?
Hi, everybody.
Yep. Oh, she's back.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Ask Jessica. She'll tell you what to do.
Okay, since I missed the first class, Jessica.
Okay. Yep.
And I didn't see the first class at all.
Okay.
My head looks teeny tiny compared to everybody else's head. What can I do about that?
Well, you can make your body smaller to make your head look bigger.
Ah, okay, I can do that.
Because that will help. Sorry, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, when I was in the middle of showing you guys, all of a sudden our class started doing its like converting the video. It just like completely shut down, but I'm glad all of you guys are still here.
Oh yeah, we kept each other company.
Good. You gotta love technology.
You gotta love kids that know technology, and you can ask them.
I had to run clear across the building to get our audio video wizard to come and fix it. So, okay.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Yes.
Yeah, we're back on. We're good. Thank you. So, Mary Jo, I know that you are doing the recordings. We downloaded, we called it Polymer Part 1. So we're hoping that one is downloaded for you, and then this one will record it and will be as Part 2. I mean, we're recording right now, but we're not sure if it's all going to record as one or if this is going to be a Part 2. So just kind of bear with us on that one when you actually go to the videos to start your class to get going on your project. So if you run into any problems with that, feel free to email us. Larry will make sure I get a hold of it, and then I can help you and walk you through anything that you need. If you're having any problems with the videos for whatever just happened here, I have no idea what went down. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. I'll be more than happy to help you with it. So hello, Alex. I see your hello.
I was the host while you disappeared.
Well, good.
Yeah, he did a really good job too.
Yes, you did.
I didn't really do anything though.
Alrighty. There we go. Okay, sorry. Now my computer's being really slow. All right, so let's. All right, I'm trying to, our computer's now being really slow. Oh, this is why technology and I don't get along.
We understand.
There we go. Let's go like that. Okay.
You're back, Jess. We see you.
No, I know.
Okay.
It's other technical stuff on my end over here that I have to get popped up so I can make sure I see all of you and all of that fun stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
There we go. Okay. All right, perfect. So how's everybody's eyeballs? Do we have our eyelids on? Were you working on your eyelids? Evan, let me see that.
Can you see mine?
Ooh, that looks good, Evan. Good job. Tilt it down a little bit more, Ma. Yeah, there we go, like that. Yeah, that looks really good.
Do I need to smooth in the lid more to the head?
The one on the right. The one on the right, the one on the left looks good. The one on the right could use a little bit of
Okay, wait.
A little bit of
So
love.
where am I? This one?
No, the other one.
This one?
Yes, that one. Yep.
Okay, all right.
Alex, that looks good. I can't get over the face of that one.
It's evil.
Sharon, can I see yours again?
Oh, sure, just a sec.
Yep, no problem.
Can you see it?
Yep, I can see it. Yeah, that looks good. And the body looks much better now. The body
Yeah,
is
it does.
smaller.
Yes, it does.
Yep, so the head looks bigger.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yep, that looks good. Okay, so we have eyelids. Okay, so what I was going to say before we got cut off, if those of you that are for your other guy, if you have your little guy going, if you are making eyeballs out of clay, that last little chunk, I think that piece is too big. So I'm just going to, you want a very, very tiny piece and it's going to stick to you. So it's best if you just use a toothpick. And you're going to get like a little tiny pupil put in there. Okay, so you should have 3 layers. The bottom layer is the big circle. The middle layer is going to be the medium circle. And then you're going to have a small circle somewhere inside the medium one. Okay, so that's if you don't have some kind of non-melting piece for inside. And actually it looks like he has a little mouth right here, doesn't it? On this little guy.
Wait a second.
Just the skin.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how you would make
It's slow
an
again.
eyeball out of clay if you were using clay for your little guy. Okay. So your second one, your second person. So you did the one, your second one, whether it's the little dude or the same size one, does everybody have the eyelids and the eyeballs done for that one?
Hello.
Oh, you know where it is. You can get it after lunch. Just
Okay, you guys, I'm going to step away for 1 minute. I will be right back. I'm getting a little signal saying our internet is unstable, so I want to get ahead of the game here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab someone.
Okay.
Who has the jazz music on in the background?
But not me.
Not
Sounds
me.
pretty good, though.
Has anybody else been getting like spam emails about like giving your credit card number for the COVID vaccine?
And they came back.
No.
No, I haven't.
You need to see what we're connected to.
I'll go get my first COVID shot tomorrow.
Oh, that's cool.
I have 3 of them.
There we go.
what is everybody saying? So cute.
So even those of you, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Jack, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Yep, I just wanted to make sure. Jack- Okay. For your little guy, even though he's itty bitty and tiny, we still want to create the eyelids. Everything is like normal.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna play with Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It's like, why is that one just 1 and then that one's 2?
I can try that.
You know? I don't know. Yeah. But I'm just scared. Will it just,
Yeah, if
Like,
I,
shut
if I
us down?
switch, it might.
yeah, maybe just leave it. If it shuts down again, then we'll switch it over.
Yeah, so we go to the old. They're 2. One's caps, one's not.
And one's not, okay.
But why is that one? Okay, I don't know.
I know, right? Yeah.
We'll
Well,
just play with that.
We're just gonna hang in here and hope for the best, you guys. Sorry about all that.
That's all right.
So Like I was saying before with your little guy, those of you that have the tiny, tiny one, you still want to do eyelids. Now, because he's small, your eyelids are going to be even smaller. Okay. So make sure that you are taking your time with it. If you try and move too fast, it'll stick to your finger or it won't curl right on your guy because he's, you know, sometimes your fingers get in the way. When you're working really small, again, this toothpick becomes your best friend. Okay. It's easier to move little pieces than it is to use your finger and then try and move it. And then the entire thing sticks to your finger and then you peel it off. Okay. So the toothpick does come in handy quite a bit. Even if it's, you know, just for moving pieces versus blending them in. So who would have thought a little toothpick could have been so versatile?
What
And
does-
yes, even with your little guy, even with the little one, you still want to get your toothpick underneath that eyelid just to pull that skin away from the eyeball. Okay, just to pull that skin away. So the same thing you're doing that you did to your big guy, your main one, you have to do the same thing to your little one. Okay, it's just smaller. That's all it is. So you have to be a little more soft, a little more delicate with it than you would the big guy. Okay. Now, if you want your guy to have like a surprised look, you would arch the eyelid a little bit more. I think I have a piece of paper here in the art studio. There we go.
Somebody has music in the background.
Okay, so if you wanted more of a surprise look, so we have our eyeball right here. Okay, so this is our eyeball. For the eyelid, what we would do for the eyelid is we would bring it up and arch it a little bit more if you want it more surprised. Okay, and then the bottom one would just be normal. Okay, so then you would have a nice little surprised look on your guy. If you wanted it more surprised, just arch it up. So it's almost like you're making an upside down W or a U, sorry, not a W, an upside down letter U. Get it nice and high. If you want them, again, if you want them to be a little more shifty looking, if we have the eyeball here for our eyelids, the eyelids would actually kind of come across our eyeball like this. Okay. So then all of this would be eyelid right here. So then he has that little more of a shifty look. Okay, and then obviously, you know, eyebrow. But just by changing how you place the eyelids on, you can create an emotion for your little creature. Okay. And if you want them to look bug-eyed and stressed out like that, well, you have two of the same eyeball sizes. The eyelids are just going to follow the shape of your eye. That is all. Okay, so then he looks kind of stressed out. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways what you can do with eyes. Okay, just by how you place the clay on there, how much eye is covered, how much it isn't, the shape of it. You can create a lot of emotions with one little chunk of clay.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Um,
But again, remember, it's important to pull away your eyeball skin. Okay, your eyelid skin away from the eyeball. Just a little.
Does this look better, Jess?
really, who has the music on in the background?
Yes.
I hear music.
Yep. Oh, that's me. I can't have a quiet room. It drives me crazy.
Can you see mine, Jess?
Yes, I can.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah. Yep, hold it straight. Yeah, there we go. Turn it to the left. Now back to the right. Yeah, yep, that looks good. Just straight on, it was looking weird straight on, but when you turn them, I can actually see each eye better.
Oh, okay. So should I just quit messing with it now?
Yes, because you can overdo it and then you can mess it up and then you're gonna wish you would have left it alone like 2 steps ago.
Okay.
So yes, you can overwork clay and you don't want to do that.
I got one fatter lid than the other.
That's all right. Maybe he got stung by a bee. Or maybe he got punched in the face. You know, create a story. Create a backstory to your little creatures. It always helps. It gets you more invested and more involved in your process of making it when you create a story for it. Now, too, because we're using our toothpick to kind of lift up the eyelids, I want you to double check on your eyeball. Well, both of them, all of them, if you made a second one too. I want you to check all the eyeballs to make sure there's no little chunks or like crumbs of clay actually on the eye. If you do have some, like I had some, just kind of wipe it off, take it off the eyeball for baking reasons. That looks good, Evan. Yes. Yep, all good. Thank you.
Shoosh.
Okay. So does everybody have all their eyelids on? 4 eyelids. You should have 4 eyelids if you made 2.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So now what we're going to do
This.
is we're going to get the mouth placed. We're going to work on the head. Nice, Alex. We're going to work on the head. Okay. We're going to finish. Oops, sorry. There we go. We're going to work on the mouth. Okay. We're going to get the little mouth put in there. Now, yes, you're going to have to do the same thing for your itty bitty dude, your little one. Okay. Your little guy. But we're going to start with the big one. Okay. Does anybody have any questions right now before we move to the mouth?
Not really.
No.
Nope, we're all good.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So for the mouth, okay, we created the eyelids and we do have that little bit of separation in between, okay, in between the eyes. Okay. And that's where the mouth is going to go. Okay. And that's where the mouth is going to go. Is directly in between, not below, like our mouth is below our eyeballs in the, you know, in between, but below. This one is actually going to be in between. Okay. So to start that, make sure my surface doesn't fall on me here. Wait for it to focus. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to, like I said, we're going to start it right in the middle. What I did is I just started by taking my toothpick. This is one of the times where I actually just like poke it in there. Okay. I just poke it in there gently. Don't like stab it all the way through. So right now he kind of looks like a mosquito with a really giant stabby nose. Okay. So you're just going to create that hole. So now you have a hole to start with. Okay. That little hole we are going to shape and form.
It's Pinocchio.
Yep, Evan, that looks good.
Pinocchio.
So that little hole is going to create our mouth. So from that little hole, I just put the toothpick back in there gently. I don't make it any deeper. I don't want it too deep right now. Okay. So what I do from there is it's just resting in there, and I just kind of turn it sideways one way, turn it sideways the other way. So now it kind of opened up the mouth a little bit. So it should just rest in there. I'll do that with my little guy here. Just rest it in there, okay? And then you were just going to lean it one way. Now we're going to lean it the other way. And then it creates that little opening, okay?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, Evan, that looks good.
Mine doesn't look good in it, and I'm like trying to put clay back on it, and it's flattening its face.
Yep. So one way, if you're like, oh no, I made it too deep or too wide or whatever, you're just going to take a chunk of your little skin off of your ball of skin, and you're just going to keep it a ball. Okay. You're going to keep it a ball, and you are just going to tuck it in the hole part. Okay. So I just kind of set it right on top. So if you made it, come on, focus. Maybe it doesn't want to focus. Right there we go.
There it is.
Okay. So you can kind of see it, the ball is just kind of resting in there. This is where I use my toothpick instead of my finger, because all that eyeball work we did, if I use my finger, I'm just going to squish it. Okay. And then I'm going to just pretty much kill the eyeballs that I just did. So what you want to do is use your toothpick, and you're going to lightly pack it in there. Okay. So then you just kind of pack it in there. And then what I do is I use my toothpick, the side of it now, and I just start to roll it out until it becomes smooth. Okay. And then this will keep your head from flattening. It will keep you from squishing your eyeball lids out. Okay. You want to keep your eyelids nice and puffy. So then it's like you just patched it in. So now I can go back in and I can redo my mouth without compromising the shape of my head or all that eyeball work I just did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just start with the hole, gently press it in, so then it sticks. And then you just pull one way and pull the other way. Now, when you do the pull, you don't have to pull so you're completely sideways like this. You just do a gentle pull until you're, at a nice little diagonal on both sides. So then that opens up the mouth just a little. Okay. So does everybody have it on both of their characters? Does anybody want me to check theirs to see?
Here, you can see mine.
Mine just looks horrible.
Yep, that looks good. Let me see.
Did you see mine, Jess?
Yes, I did, Ma.
It's
Okay.
just a little hole.
You look like E.T.
I know it does look like E.T. Evan, that looks good. And I love how you did a Cyclops one. I love the one eyeball. Alex, what you can do is you can take your toothpick, put it back in there. If you want the mouth to be a little bit wider, just gently go little bits at a time. Don't just like crank on it and then you're like, oh no, and it got all messed up again. Just take your toothpick and just lightly go from side to side until it gets to the opening that you like. Okay. Just go side to side. Don't go around in a circle. Okay. We don't want to do a circle because that's just going to keep it like an O, like a little O mouth, a big circle. And we don't want that.
Okay.
Jess, I have a question.
Yep.
I have a flat chin. See
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Right here. Is it supposed to be like that?
Yep.
Like right here?
Uh-huh. Mine is too. See?
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine. A little chin will kind of start popping out once we dink with the mouth a little bit more, because then
Okay.
you'll start to get just that tiny little bloop right here.
Little bubble like.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That happens naturally with when we're creating the rest of the mouth.
Okay.
So Evan, let me see the mouth on your Cyclops one again. The one with the one eye. Yeah, it looks like an alien. I love it. Yes, that looks good. I remember I got distracted by the one eye, so I wasn't really paying attention to the mouth. Okay. Is everybody good? Everybody has 2 mouth holes? Or at least one if they just made one character. We're all good? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So now we're going to kind of shape out the mouth a little bit more. Okay. So if you notice this guy, I gave him there's like 2 little lines right here. There's one here and then one right here. It kind of creates a top lip. It just creates a little top lip. And then the mouth has opened up a little bit more down here. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on right now. And again, this is very delicate work. You don't want to just go in there and just start like cranking away, because then you're going to ruin what you just did. So again, toothpick, if you're gentle with it, with the toothpick, it all happens naturally. Okay, so just go slow. I'd rather you do less than do too much, because it'll be easier to do it again versus trying to patch it in and then start over. Okay, so to create those little notches right here, it's kind of the same thing that we did to make the mouth, where we went from one side to the other side. But this one is just going to be a little bit different. We're going to start in the corner of the mouth inward. Now, I'm only going to about, here, let me mark it with my marker here. I'm only going to about here. Whoop. So you can actually see kind of how deep I'm actually going. I don't know if you can see, come on, focus. It's not going to focus on that. There we go. See that little black mark on my toothpick?
Oh, okay.
That's as far as I'm going in. Okay, because I don't want the thick part of the toothpick to create that line. Otherwise it gets too big. So I'm just using this tiny little spot up to that spot. Okay, so it's not a whole bunch of the toothpick. It's the skinny part right at the end, the real pokey part. That's all that I'm using, is that pokey part. Okay, so you can see that dot. So we're going to put the toothpick right in the corner of the mouth. Remember, not too deep. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tilt it up. Okay. I'm going to tilt it up. Come on, focus. Giving it a minute here. There we go. So far, so good. Yep. I haven't got that weird message again. So.
I played with the antennas. So.
Okay. So you can kind of see that little mark right there. Okay. It's always going to look sloppy at first because we're just getting it placed in there.
Can you show me that mark again?
Right here.
Oh, so you kind of go up the eye a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yep. It might skirt right up against the eye. That's okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. So then I'm just going to have another little, now I have that little bloop. Okay. But just remember, this is just the beginning part of it. It's always going to look wonky and a little cruddy and junky when we first just make the marks in there, because now we have to shape it. Okay. And then again, that's where your toothpick comes into play. Okay. So when you can put your toothpick, rest it right back in that little notch. And then what I like to do is I like to just roll it back and forth. Okay. That's going to smooth out any sharp edges that you have. And then if like I cut into my eyeball quite a bit on this side, which I want to fix, that's okay. So I'm going to take my toothpick and just kind of poke my eyeball skin back out. And then I'm going to go back to the corner of that mouth and I'm just going to roll it out, just roll it back and forth to make it nice and smooth. Then I'm going to hop over to the other side and do the same thing. Okay. So then you have 2 smoothed out little pieces. how the crease is going for everybody in the mouth. Remember, the same thing that you do for your big guy, you got to do for your tiny itty bitty guy. Now, you know how the amount that we put in the mouth to make those little creases, you have to go even less for the little guy if you have a little one. Okay.
Little feller.
At least he looks happy.
Let me see.
Oh, I'll keep him
My
right.
big guy looks like a cross between an owl and E ET.
Yes, yes, they do. When I first started making them, I was like, oh, it looks like an owl. And then as I was adding more pieces on, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks like ET. Until I finished with all the other stuff, then it would just turn into a little woodland creature.
Is this right, Jess? Oh, wait.
Oh,
Where am
yeah,
I?
there you go. Do you have another light, Ma?
How's that?
Because it's really dark when you show me, so it's kind of hard to see.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that looks good.
So I'll leave it alone?
Yep. Yeah, the little creases. Yeah, these little creases, I'd be done with those.
Okay. I'm good at overdoing.
Yes. Yep. And my first one, this guy that I did, the first one that I did, I actually had to pop out the eyeballs and redo it because I overdid those little creases and I just couldn't get it back. So I actually had to redo that whole head. So
Oh,
now everybody has those little crease marks on all of them. We're good. I don't want to move forward if someone is still picking away. Are you good, Evan? Let me see that. Oh yeah, look at that. It looks like your guy is screaming, Evan. I love it.
My guy looks like he's got a nose and a mouth. Look at that dumb thing.
Oh, I think he's cute. He could have.
This is called poetic license.
I don't like it. I think it looks good. Okay, so from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on, where did he go? Here he is. Okay, we're going to work on our bottom lip. Okay, our bottom lip. So our bottom lip, again, your toothpick is gonna be your friend. Let me see if I can get him up here so it's nice and focus. Ah, look at that. Nice.
oh yeah, that's good.
Okay, so what I do to help with the bottom lip, instead of just stabbing my toothpick in there and trying to pull out a bottom lip, I stick it in sideways. Okay, kind of like you're brushing your teeth. Okay, I know you like that, Ma, but and then I just roll. I roll it out of the mouth. Okay, if you notice with my toothpick, and then if you need to, like instead of putting it in my other hand, if you're not two-handed, which I am, I always tell my students, some of them are not. So what you can do is just turn your guy upside down so you can get the other side of the bottom lip, and then you're just gonna roll out, okay? You're gonna kind of roll out, and it's gonna start popping out a bottom lip, okay? And then from that point, after you roll out the bottom lip, it's going to look a little weird, okay? Just like it does right now. It doesn't really look like anything at the moment. What you want to do is you're going to go on the outside of your bottom lip, right underneath it, and you're just going to very gently press it upward, okay? So you have a lip, just a thin little lip that pops out, okay? And you can start creating your little lip on the bottom. Okay, you can start shaping it. Remember, it is clay, so small adjustments to start with.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, the fun part after this, because we opened up the mouth a little bit more, we actually want to make it look like it is a mouth on the inside and that you don't just have a hole poked in there. Okay, we don't want to make it look like you just have a hole poked in there. So we will actually want to make it look like, because if you notice, and let me see here, there we go. So if you notice, you can actually see the hole where I poked the toothpick in. Okay.
Yep.
So from there, you're going to re-poke that hole. I mean, don't make it any deeper than it already is. And then what I do is I move it side to side, but I twist at the same time. So it's almost like if you were trying to start a fire with one piece of wood, which wouldn't happen because you can't roll it fast enough with your hands. Okay, so then it deepens that hole and it opens it up a little bit more. So now it looks like you actually have a mouth. Okay. And then sometimes the corner of your eyes, because the mouth is in between the eyes, sometimes the corner of your eyes get a little wonky again. So go ahead and readjust those and fix them up.
Me and Katie go outside later. Or can I go outside later then? Yeah.
Yeah, before it gets frigid cold.
Huh?
Before it gets too frigid cold to be outside this
Yeah.
weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Isn't it supposed to be like high of 20, low of like -3?
Yeah, this weekend is supposed to, when I checked before I left home, I think our high is like 5 over the weekend or 0 or something, and then it's negative whatever, like -10 or something like that. Something ridiculous. Unlike you, Nevada and Kentucky people, I'm sure you're not that cold.
No, we have 70 today.
Well, a lot
Oh
of
my
people-
gosh.
And
Well,
it's
we're in,
getting
I think
sunny.
we're in the 30s, but this coming up week, we're supposed to go below
Oh, you're getting
Oh,
2
warm
or
Minnesota,
something,
okay,
because
so
we're
we're
gonna
getting-
get the cold front. Yeah,
from Minnesota.
yes.
Weather.
Okay. So how is everybody's little lip and their opening in their mouth coming along?
Well, looks like a mouth.
Is that right?
Yeah, that looks good.
Does it need fixing?
No, nope.
My,
So remember what you do on this one, do it on your other one as well.
Okay.
So get
High
your little mouth crease on your second one.
of 18.
That looks good, Evan. Yep, I can see it. That looks good. Did you get your Cyclops one? Did you get those little creases in the mouth opening bigger on that guy? Yep. That one's still my favorite. I love that one.
Made
Yep, that
Pac-Man.
looks good. You did make Pac-Man. Okay.
The ghost.
So from here, what time do we have? Otherwise, I just keep going. You guys would be here all day with me.
That's okay. It's 12:15.
Thank you. I know I'm horrible at timekeeping, so sometimes we might go over. So sorry if we do. Or just someone holler out the time at some point, because I'm really bad at that. Okay. So we have so I want you to take a look at both your characters, and I want you to double check to make sure you didn't squish an eyelid, or that your mouth is good. Okay, I just want you to double check before we move forward. And then again, if you're like me, where when you hold him, for some reason, I keep squishing him, so my neck gets all chunky and like accordion-like. What you can do to fix that is I gently, very gently, kind of squeeze out the body, which kind of elongates, naturally elongates your neck. Okay. But if it's really bad, like if you really squished it up, you can take your toothpick and again, just roll it along gently. Okay, roll it along. Make sure it does a full roll, not just a half roll. You want a full roll. And then that will also help stretch out the neck. Okay. But just don't squeeze too hard because remember, it is clay and it will alter the shape. So we have our little mouth. We have our eyelids. Now, if you want to add a little tooth, you can add a tooth. You can add more than one if you want it to be a fang and not a tooth. I did a tooth for this little guy, just like a little normal tooth. I think with this one, because, whoops, I just dropped him. Because this one, he's looking a little irritated with this side. I'll just say he's irritated with this little guy. I'm going to give this one a fang. So what you would do is you would take a little chunk off of your silver.
Off of my Frosty the Snowman.
Okay. So, and obviously, if we're making a fang, what you're going to do is you're just going to roll one end. Let's see if I can do this in my hand so you can actually see it. There we go. Okay. You see that tiny little chunk?
Just barely.
Just barely. Look closer. Yep. If you squint really hard, you might be able to see it. Squint till you get a headache and you'll be able to see it. So I see it just got stuck to my finger. So what we do for a tiny little fang, because remember this tooth needs to be small to fit in the mouth. What we're going to do is just roll out one side of it. So now it looks, whoop, sorry, I just poked it. Now it looks kind of like a really itty bitty tiny carrot. That's what we want.
White.
Okay. A nice pointy carrot. Now I can tell you right now that this fang is going to be too long for my mouth.
As soon as I'm off.
Okay. So instead of trying to cut some of this or rip some of this off and make it and start all over and make it even smaller, because I have a nice little point here, what I can do is I can either use my fingernail, you can use a butter knife, you can use your toothpick, kind of whatever you can use. And I am just going to cut some of it off. Okay. So now I'm just left with the pointy part. And then I'm going to use the toothpick to pull it off.
Wow, that's teeny.
Yes, it's very, very small. So you could either have the tooth up at the top, down on the bottom, and you can, oh, there we go. Just use your toothpick to set it in there. And then you have to gently press it down into the mouth, because once we bake it, if you don't press the clay at the bottom down into the mouth, then it will just fall off. Okay.
Wow.
So, yep, all this fine detail work. I promise you it is worth it, because it really turns your character in, brings it to life. All this small little detail work. Okay. So now if you want to do, instead of having like a little fang, if you'd rather have just like a little tooth, you're going to kind of do the same thing. You're going to take a little chunk out. Obviously, this is bigger, but you're going to obviously start into a ball, because that's the easiest way to form and shape anything is from a ball. Okay. So what I would do from here, what I did for this guy, okay, what I did for this one to make that little tooth is I just very gently just pressed it down. So it's a little flat, but not flat. Okay. It's just a little bit. So then you have a little dot. And from this little dot, I just gently squished in the sides to kind of turn it into an oval. Okay, so we have a little oval to start with. And then I went to the other side. So it's kind of like you're creating a little square, a rounded edge square.